and welcome to the Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
All the time.
And as screenwriters ourselves and avid cinephiles, we'd like to believe we can meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TCD Witt, and joining me, as always, is Jim, the good old days Burzelic.
Uh-oh.
Hello, Jim.
Oh, I don't know if I like that nickname.
Yeah, like the good old days.
Middle name? Nickname?
Yeah,
the
AKA.
Yeah.
You like the good old days, like VHS and
Those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. Honestly, we're just singing the chorus, and the chorus is actually really
Sweet.
Innocuous.
Yeah.
That's the song by Witt called Good Old Days, in which he, in the verses, he describes the good old days in which he was a young serial killer.
A young, complete psychopath.
Yes.
we were talking earlier, Suncoast Video, right? Like,
Yeah.
You get, like, going...
Overpaying for DVDs. Miss it. I miss it so much.
It was the hot topic of
It was the hot topic of video stores. Yeah. I think it's really just because of the motif. Their motif was black and red lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's Hot Topic is mostly black and then mood lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I described it as Spencer's. Spencer's was black and then colored lighting of different types. So Suncoast just kind of matched into that. Maybe that was just the late 80s/90s motif for just stores.
Maybe. I do malls still exist? Like, does anyone have a reason to go to malls anymore?
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
We were just in one.
Oh my God, you're right. We literally go to a mall every week, twice a week sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do malls still exist?
Granted, those stores, well, actually one of the stores, two of the stores we talked about, one of the stores exists in the mall out here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a Hot Topic. I would have to check that.
I'm
pretty sure there's not a Spencer's, at least not in this mall.
No.
But there are malls that we could go to right now that do still have Spencer's, but no Suncoast. Suncoast is gone.
Spencer's Gifts was like, you want a wacky gag gift that's like a fat lady in a bikini, or that's shaped like a penis.
Boob mug.
Get
your boob mugs here.
A complaint department. It's a grenade, right? Like, take a number.
Blacklight weed posters.
Yeah. See, when I was younger, I didn't understand that back section of Spencer's Gifts was all for the stoners. Like, I didn't.
Sure.
I just thought, like, oh, here's a poster describing every type of poop you can take. I laugh because I'm 11.
Yeah, I can't wait until I'm old enough to buy this for myself.
Hang it in my dorm room. No, that's not a thing.
No. Yeah, when I then had a dorm room, I was uninterested in decorating it with descriptions of poop.
Descriptions of different types of poop.
Yeah, that was
just not what
I was into other things.
Those were the good old days.
I feel I need to clarify that I can't describe, like, I was into anime and stuff, like big geeky nerdy things, right? So when I say I wasn't into putting poop on my walls, I was into other things. It was actual properly innocuous things, not like worse things. Just wanted to
like Reservoir Dogs posters.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So how about we get started?
Do it.
Hello and welcome to the Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we'll challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
All the time?
And as screenwriters ourselves and avid cinephiles, we'd like to believe we could meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TCD Witt, and joining me, as always, is Jim, the good old days Burzelic. Hey, Jim.
Hello.
The good old days, right?
The good old, yep.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Like earlier we were talking about, what were we talking about? Like Suncoast Video and like going to the mall, right?
Yeah.
Do malls still exist?
Okay, no. I'm gonna catch on way sooner than Bill Murray did.
What?
We're in a loop.
What did
You've put us in a loop.
What?
No, I'm not. Nope. I'm getting out of this matrix. You're not gonna catch me.
Okay. Do you not like the good old days, Burzelic?
No, the good old days are great. Those were the good old
I thought
days,
for
yeah.
sure you'd like start singing the Weird Al song or something.
I did do that, and you sang along, and then we discussed it. And all that took place after you did the intro. And then you just did the intro. I need to look to someone else to verify what's happening here.
What's happening here? Did we talk about that earlier? Because we got dinner like we normally did, but did we do Weird Al earlier?
I'm gonna get you.
Normally I expect you to riff when I like.
Yeah, I know. Correct. Like I did the first time.
Okay. Well, should we just get started?
God damn it.
Should we
you son of a... Yes,
okay.
yes.
How about
we should start.
Hello and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
All the time.
There we go. And you're really slow on that one. That's so weird. As screenwriters ourselves and avid cinephiles, we'd like to believe we could meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TC DeWitt, and joining me, as always, is Jim Be Kind, Rewind, Burzelic. How's it going, Jim?
Wait, that one was different.
What's up?
Okay, I think we're back in the normal timeline.
No,
What?
the Be Kind, Rewind? I don't think I've used that one before.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
We were talking like old school, like the good old days of like VHS and like going to video stores earlier tonight.
Yeah.
And, like I missed that.
Yeah, the good old days. Jim.
Those were the good old days.
Those are the good old days.
Are you okay? Well, I asked you before we started.
Years go by when the memories fade.
Those
were the good old days.
Jim is broken, ladies and gentlemen. Do the good old days make you sad?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to record?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been recording this whole time.
It just started. I just the energy's weird right now. If you don't think I'm you know you got a good laugh when you just have the squeak of Jim laughing. Jim, the squeaker laugh, Burzelic.
You are doing a thing, and it's working. And it's working.
I'm working?
Okay. All right. So we should probably start the episode.
Okay. You ready? Are you sure you're okay?
No.
All right. Well, what do we have today? So this comes from Roberta at A Toyota's a Toyota, which, as we know, is from a Weird Al song.
It is.
It's
from
from Bob,
yeah,
which is a palindrome. Yeah. A Toyota's a Toyota. Hey guys, love your show. I also love time travel movies and the very specific genre of time loop movies. Of the recent bunch that have come out, I really like Happy Death Day 1 and 2. The studio demands an end to this trilogy. They found a fun angle in the sequel, Jumping Dimensions, so it might be worth finding a third angle for the last one. Keep the main cast, obviously Jessica Roth. Fun kills and a whodunit stuff should remain as well. Also, TC, as the studio also demands that you open the show 3 times to mess with Jim and see how he reacts. Play it straight and do not acknowledge the loop. Hopefully that doesn't annoy any other listeners, but I will love it. Thanks, boys.
Hollywood overlords.
Thank you, Jeff. I was like, I'm shaking nervous to do this because I didn't know how it would play out.
Yeah.
And it played out beautifully.
What are you doing to me?
Thank you, Jim. I think I played it pretty consistent to all 3 starts. And
yeah, you did.
Thank you, Roberta. Thank you. Just for that alone.
Yes, Roberta. Thank you.
Okay, we've talked Happy Death Day before.
We have. I like it. I like it a bunch.
I love time travel movies. I love time loop as a concept. Groundhog Day is the best time loop movie. There is nothing better than Groundhog Day. You try and tell me a better time loop movie.
I'm trying.
There is not.
Nope,
nothing. But I was very pleasantly surprised by Happy Death Day, which is sort of a slasher movie for the first one, where it's a girl who just keeps getting killed at the end of every night, and she has to
Mhm.
figure out who's doing it and survive the day. And it follows Groundhog Day-esque things,
Yeah.
like learning the day, getting like perfecting it.
hmm
And Happy Death Day 2 got her back into the loop immediately. Like
Mhm.
her next day starts and she thinks she's
Like,
escaped it,
oh no!
and it
Yeah.
drops back in.
But someone else was having the loop.
No, she was still having the
Was
loop,
it? I thought,
but she was
oh,
crossing dimensions. She kept like crossing into an alternate reality where like the killer from the first one wasn't the killer anymore, and she was still getting chased and murdered, and she lost her boyfriend to her
Sure.
enemy from the first one.
Uh-huh.
And the second one's fun because she basically becomes an astrophysicist
Yeah.
because she can memorize, like it's a device.
She has to at a certain point. It's
Yeah. It's some device that was activated and busted that
Mhm.
created the loop in the first place, and busted some different way that created the alternate reality.
Mhm.
And in order to stop the time loop, she has to like memorize how the device is made. You've
Yeah,
seen it.
because she can't take material through the loop with
Mhm.
her. So to explain it to the astro quantum physicists
At the school.
at the school that did the breaking and need to do the fixing,
Mhm.
they work it all out. However, at the end of every day, she's spending all that time memorizing it to take it back to explain to them,
Right.
so that they can make advancements rather than just taking the same steps they're able to accomplish each time.
So she shows up and is like, all right, nerds, listen.
Yep.
And she goes up on the whiteboard, and she's a sorority girl, like a ditzy blonde.
She wants to be that, but this situation has forced her
To become a
into
genius.
learning this stuff herself. Yeah.
And so they fix the device. They solve the
Mhm.
mystery. And both movies are great.
They are.
Like
The first
way better
first
than
one
they
is,
should be.
is very much in the slasher tradition, and the second one still has some of that, but really drops a lot of that pretense to just kind of play around with the sci-fi
Mhm.
loop element.
And more comedy in the second one.
Yeah.
Like there's a cheeky,
And there was camp in the first one.
yeah. And the second one is much more like, once she realizes she like jumps out of a plane at one point to land dead
Uh-huh.
in front of her boyfriend and the girl she hates.
Uh-huh.
Like, woo, just in her bikini, and she like flicks off the guys in the plane. Just
Yeah.
So there's a lot more comedy in that second one. Do you remember how the second one ends? The little like
Not
stinger
fully.
at the end.
Not fully.
Okay.
No.
So the way it ends is the government, DARPA, shows up, like
Mhm.
FBI Men in Black types. Come with us, you who invented this
That's right.
machine.
Yeah.
And the rest of you, so boyfriend and Tree, I think is the main character's name.
Okay.
I think that's her name. You'll just trust me on that. They take them to a facility, a DARPA facility, and they're like, we want to use this device, but we need a test subject to. Basically, we want to use it to create time loops, and they suggest trapping someone in it to study it, and then she suggests like the bitchy girl from the
That's right.
and it
Yeah.
just ends with her screaming in the time loop, like, all right.
Yes. The character's name was Tree Gelbman.
Tree Gelbman. The first one or the second one? Which is the one where she actually like gets to talk to her mom? I think it's the second one.
I think so.
Yeah. Or her dad. Like there's a little bit of heart to it. It's just fun. Those two movies are just fun. And I said before, way better than they should have been.
Oh, definitely.
I did not expect to enjoy them. And I think that the charm of your lead has a lot to do with it. And not so much Babyface, who is the killer in it. Wait,
Mhm.
did we just find a horror movie where I care about the heroes more than the gimmick of the villain?
Yes.
Let's go back. Well, there we go. Whoever gave us that demand, we did it. So the second one ends with the suggestion that the government is going to utilize this technology for some sort of purposes. Do you have any ideas off the top of your head where you'd like to see this go?
Well, the first thing, if I remember right, one of the major problems they were having was if they didn't solve it soon, wasn't it going to break? She was going to get stuck somewhere, or was it that it was going to break things?
The first one, they did a really neat thing that I'd never seen done in a time loop movie before. Even though she woke up fully healed at the beginning of the cycle, of
Mhm.
the beginning of the loop,
That's right.
she had the effects like the
She had like effects of the death.
yeah, so she didn't have a finite number, or she had a finite number of times she could die before she'd literally die, because she'd be
something about the loop.
Yeah.
So something about
and
the
in
loop wasn't a full proper reset.
Yeah, there was like, she went to the doctor because she wakes up like, why am I like passing out immediately? And it's like, you have broken every bone in your body at some point in your life.
Yeah,
something like that. Or like, even though your bones are healed, there's some sort of echo of you have once had all these contusions and concussions.
Sure. Well, and that makes sense. That makes sense that things didn't, because she remembers her memory retained the entire loop.
So why would,
so her body would also be retaining some of the loop.
That's such a neat thing. Like, I'd never seen that in a time loop movie before, and I really enjoyed it when they did it.
Well, because what it introduces is, especially for a slasher, a ticking clock.
Sure.
Because without that ticking clock, she just has infinite times that she can figure out who this is killing her.
It does create a certain agency you don't get in Groundhog Day. There's another movie that came out last year called The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, which is a time loop movie. With Palm Springs.
Yeah, with I know with Groundhog Day, I'm not sure about the others. There's an, like the book or story it's originally based on. They talk about how that character was in that loop for the equivalent of like thousands of years.
100 years, I think, was the original.
Oh, what was that? What it was?
Something like that.
Was, I thought it was an immense amount.
100 years is still an immense amount.
100 years is, yeah, right. You're getting one day, 365 times
100.
100.
So hold on. Do I have to get a calculator?
No.
36,500 times.
You did it.
Yay!
You found the calculator.
It was in my head the whole time. I've been on a loop so often now I can do that equation.
You just counted one up each time on that loop.
Yeah. That's right. Until I got it right. So Palm Springs. There's a couple other time loop movies that I've never seen that before. That ticking clock of you can't die an infinite number of times.
Yeah.
So the second one being more, there's a broken dimension situation, and it's, I want to heal the timeline and close the loop and get back to the prime universe was her goal.
Yeah.
And she achieves victory, and then the government says, we want to use this. My first thought is making her, like, did you see Source Code? That's another time loop movie.
I did not.
Okay. Source Code, Jake Gyllenhaal is an agent of sorts, deliberately put into a forced loop of a train crash, and he has to solve how the train.
I remember
crashed.
those ads. Yeah.
Okay. So using Tree as the one who's already done this and perfected it, it would make sense to, like, she's going to be the agent that goes into the loops. But the question would be, why? What necessitates a need for the loop this time, as opposed to one that someone gets stuck in? You know what I mean? Like that. I think that's the alternate, like the new angle to approach on this would be willingly going into a loop to solve, like Source Code, where you're trying to solve why a train crashed. To go back to the original, there's the babyface killer. If there's some sort of serial killer that, just literally off the top of my head, some sort of serial killer that seems to have perfected a loop. So it's sticking Tree into a loop that the serial killer has already perfected. Something like that, maybe.
Okay.
Because then, like, anything she throws,
because the first one was the killer just happens to change their plan each time to kill her, right?
Like she is changing her day, and the serial killer just changes their strategy and how to kill her. Right. And then the second one, it became less about trying to survive the killer and more about, like, yes, I'm getting killed again, but it's more about solving the loop as opposed to solving the mystery of the killer.
Yeah. And it's also because the killer keeps changing.
Right.
That was a part of uncovering what was happening here. Okay, actually, I like this idea. The idea, like, so it would start with the killer What if it's right? The killer's not just killing one person. A giant massacre
Yeah. Okay.
occurs.
So
And like no one knows how, like the handful of survivors, or one survivor or whatever, says it was one person. That like,
how could one person kill
this
50
many
people?
Yeah, this quickly.
And not use an assault rifle. Like,
Yeah.
like to not to belittle and degrade, like demean the severity of mass shooters and whatnot.
Mhm.
But like that's, yeah. How could someone so perfectly murder this many people?
Mhm. And so Tree then gets involved somehow because she's the only one that with any sort of experience with anything
in
like
time
this.
loops, yeah. And her team is like the man at the computer, the guy at the computer scenario. Like the team, they are outside the loop and they force her into it, right? Something like that. Or not force her into it, like facilitate her getting into the loop. Like
Maybe
if we jump ahead in time, because it's been a number of years since the second one came out, these characters are getting older. We can't put them in the same loop they were already in.
correct.
So I like the idea of that. It's been 5 years. She's now like the go-to agent for time loops. And oh, okay, here we go. Wait.
I don't. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
If she can willingly go into loops and come out of loops, and that is the thing that breaks at some point to create that agency, to create that threat to her well-being, she can no longer escape her loop. And so she's in the same loop as the serial killer. Right? You know what I mean? Like if she could like do a loop, like if she has a device where she can back up to the beginning of the loop. She enters at midnight and she can go through the day and she gets to a point where she feels like she failed. She just clicks a button and rewinds herself back to midnight. Rewinds herself back to midnight. And then after some confrontation, she tries to click herself back to midnight and the device is broken. And now the only way she can get back is to die. And she is killed.
Did she have a device at the end of the second one?
No, I'm suggesting that they develop it because DARPA brings them in and says, we don't understand this device well enough.
So the angle I would go with is her home reality doesn't have that development.
Okay.
They never had this team fix the thing and develop this loop, and DARPA never became aware of it happening to then develop it. That is something that happened in that other reality that she left.
No, that's how the movie ends. The movie ends with them cleaning up the garbage after they blew up the school.
Jim doesn't remember.
So DARPA has the technology. They have the device.
So DARPA had. So okay.
Now that you've been
reminded. She leapt back. She leapt back to Happy Death Day 1, and they are all like, "Oh, yep, you did this."
Yeah.
And then DARPA showed up, and they're like,
"We have your device.
Fix your globe,
and we want to use it."
And they trap
Melissa is the character.
Melissa in there,
who is I believe the killer in the second timeline, if I remember correctly. Either way, she's a bad person.
Okay.
Now I'm suggesting we jump ahead a few years. They stop torturing Melissa, whatever. And Tree is like their go-to looper. Wait, can't use that term.
Is that fun? Like to me, a part of the fun of Tree and all that stuff that was happening was that it was put upon her. It wasn't chosen. She didn't. She's not like, yes, I'm ready, willing, and able to do this more and more.
Right.
Right. Like Ash is always trying to get away from the Deadites. He doesn't want the responsibility of being the one to fight them.
Well, that's why I'm saying if she is so cocky and sure of her ability to utilize the loop, like she knows how to perfect the loop, and that ability is taken from her mid-movie or earlier enough in the movie where now it's like, okay, I was so cocksure about how I can handle this and catch serial killers who by utilizing, like if she's
so she like that's what she's now using the ability that's interesting. What you just they're using that ability to stop other crimes.
Yes.
Essentially pre-crime.
Yeah.
They don't have precogs. They have somebody who lives through it and then says, this is how we stop it.
Yeah. Like trying, like if it's suggested that she has been utilized like this multiple times, dozen times, 50 times, I don't know. She's been doing this for a number of years now, where there's some sort of incident, like an unsolved murder mystery, that she is then stuck into a 12-hour period, 24-hour period to loop it until she saves the day. And then she comes walking back in like she did it again. Put that one on my bucket list there. Give me another mark on the tally board. I've done it again. And she's like the cock of the walk, like the best. I've now used the word cock in 3 different different versions. And that's the 4th version by just saying it as a word. But then she gets thrown into, say there's a babyface killer. I think that's what they call the thing, babyface. And she gets in there thinking she could stop that killer, only to discover, no, this killer, this babyface has perfected this loop. And now she is so far behind in this loop because this babyface character has like even to the point where he's already anticipated her multiple times. Right? Like if I start my loop, am I pitching something you like
are?
Here?
Yeah, I'm coming around.
Yeah. But then
I'm sorry, I'm doing it silently.
That's okay.
But I am coming around.
I'm worried I'm talking too much in this episode and not giving you a chance.
Well, because I had 2 other ideas.
Go ahead.
Instead of making her, because like I do like the idea of it still being like a slasher movie, and I want to keep it more in that vein. And I feel like if we make her a government agent that specializes in fighting these things, that's not a serial killer movie. It's not there's no horror to it. It's just like a superhero movie with a few more stabbings.
Sure. Okay. You want taking into account how 2 ends. What's your suggestion then? Like you said, you have 2 other ideas. Let's hear.
It was
that sounded challenging. I'm excited to hear your idea.
It was predicated on the ending not being quite the way it was, more the way I remembered, which was not how it was. And so it's more important about how it did end than how I remember it.
Well, that's okay. Let's hear your pitch, because we might be able to adapt it to the existing material.
And based off of what you said, I have yet another one. So I guess I have three things here.
Throw them at me. I'll loop it back.
2, because I think I forgot one of them. So one idea was that when she came back, a new problem occurred. Basically, yes, she came back, but the thing is, she actually splintered, and there became several instances of her that are now also looping. And so it turns out what she eventually finds out, there's a killer that's killing, and it turns out it's her. So she is hunting herself. She is hunting a murderer version of herself,
who's so fed up of being stuck in a loop that's like, I figured out who Babyface was. I killed them at the beginning, but I'm still trapped in this loop. So now I'm murdering everybody.
Actually, because so if she splintered, so there are several. And so she gets the news. DARPA finds out something like, oh, there's been this murder here. And it turns out it's you, Tree. They took a different alias, things like that. But it looks like it was you living this other life. And they've now been murdered. What? Let's go find out. Something like that. And what she finds out is that the babyface murderer is her, who has come to the conclusion she needs to kill every other version of her to stop the loop from happening.
To cut off basically all branches, sort of a bit. We've been watching Loki, so a bit like snipping the divergent timelines.
As an analogy to that. Yeah, that would be one
that is still usable in the hunting of a serial killer version of Happy
it is.
Death
I don't
3.
know if that's fun. I don't know if that undermines the character by having the killer be them.
Well, if she's basically been stuck in the loop for 100 years, she's gonna reach the point of losing her mind and thus becoming the villain version of herself. And I think that's a fun challenge for an actor or actress to
Mhm.
get to do, is play the evil and you're delving into time loop alternate dimension scenarios that the first two don't, which is part of
Yeah.
our demand, is to find something new, which is alternate versions of yourself, as opposed to
in the same
yeah,
reality.
exactly. We saw alternate dimensions, but now you're dealing with alternate, like, to use the Loki theory, variants.
Yeah.
So I think there's something there. What was your other idea?
The other one, based on what you said, that she is an agent doing these. She's not the only one, though. I think that part I liked. But what I like is that the 2 or 3 other agents they have, they're like so Melissa actually would be one.
Yeah,
right.
Because
So,
she survived a time loop, so
Yeah.
like they basically forced her into training.
yeah. And you find we meet a couple other characters that
I
are
would
like
love
this.
to see her like super zen, like she's like really found herself stuck in this loop and is just very like, this is how time loops work. Because then she can snap later in the movie. Like,
Oh, sure.
like if she's just very like peaceful, it's okay, Tree, I forgive you. I've learned to forgive myself as well. Just very like, I'm like water,
Oh.
move with the, but then later having her like snap.
Sure.
Anyway, but another agent.
So then what I was thinking, based on what you said, we like almost a cold open is her completing a job, or maybe we see her go out on a mission on one of these things, and
Mhm.
she's able to do it quite easily, quite fast. But what we get right away, and it's not forefronted, is the other agents are also doing jobs, and one of them goes out after this murder that happened. So when she loops back, comes back, like, cool, got this one done. They're like, okay, we're now going to send you on another one. So the opener is a little longer, and it's probably not till after this second one that she comes back and realizes, wait, after that second loop, we lost an agent. You sent a second agent to find that first agent, and I've looped back now. This is the third time back. You're sending the third agent to find the previous 2 because they don't realize they're looping all of their agents into this one killer is killing them all. So then we end up
I'm following.
we end up with a loop. I imagine she would then, that's why I figured 4. Basically there's a loop where the killer has been basically collecting all the loop agents and murdering them because they're just that many steps ahead that so now she has to go in and rescue the other 3 loopers.
Can't call them that, but continue. I like this. This is,
and
I think
okay, they are reagents.
Reagents. I think there's every idea you had can all be mashed into one,
and it
thing
could be
here.
her doing it. Like I need to destroy the entire agency.
Yeah.
That's the only way for me to get out of this loop.
Like if we get a hint that the agents are missing, and I like that, that she's the best of the best. So she's the one who realize, okay, I need to get in here to handle this loop specifically, to go after this reagent serial killer, and hinting of what a broken device would be, where then like she has 2 ways to get out of a loop. She can reset it herself and back up to hour 1, right? Or die. And dying is not the best option because there's repercussions to dying.
Sure.
And if her device breaks, she can't exit the loop until she figures out how to stop who created the loop, right? So
Something like that.
Right, like if her device lets her rewind or escape the loop at will, and we take that away from her, then the only option she has is to die and be stuck in this loop. And she doesn't have that freedom to like reset herself or escape from it. The only way she can get out is to figure out who the serial killer is. And then going head to head, third act reveal to find out that it's herself who in some other scenario broke her device and got stuck in a loop and has been here for a decade or something.
That's probably the better one. Mine is that it is her.
It's like,
yeah.
I am you. I'm not a different version of you. No. I am you.
Yeah. I broke my device and got stuck here for 100 years till I got so insane I had to break my own device to
It's the
that's probably not as fun though. I like those thought exercises.
right.
It should probably be a different iteration of her.
Yeah. But the implications that it might be, she could even question that at some point.
Mhm.
Maybe because it's always like with time loops, with time travel scenarios, it's always like, wait, what if this is the thing I do that creates the thing I'm trying not to do? Sort of an Oedipal time loop or time travel scenario.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Or we can get more crazy with it, and we could do the kind of thing. I also really like when these things have so there could even be a scenario really early on where she, like, her device gets destroyed or whatever, so she has to die one or two times, and then she gets the jump on the killer and kills the killer. And it's like, oh great, I did it. We're out.
Yeah.
And then the killer comes from around the corner again and kills her. So she's like, there's two killers. There's not two killers. The killer is also iterating. It's iterating into their own loop.
Yeah.
So
I love this because this is so ridiculous, but it would require a whiteboard to write it.
It would.
Because like something like this, you want your science to be tight. Like you don't want to just be like,
I don't need the science to be tight, just the narrative.
The narrative to be tight. We don't want
the logic of the loops.
Yeah. Like we don't want to go to primer level of preparation here, but we do want to be able to like, then how do I kill, if I can't kill the iteration that's killing me and I can't fix my device, how the hell do we end this? I guess it's always a question that'll come up in every screenplay we write. We reach a point of sort of crafting the premise. It comes to this: how do we end this?
Essentially, I guess to maybe sum up with a word, what's happening here? This new variation, this serial killer isn't just looping like everyone else. They're doppelganging, so that's why one can die. Their loop begins, but instead of them starting the 24 hours over. Just a new iteration of them appears and is able to, or it loops. I don't know.
Okay. Could it be this? To create a variation on this, almost like the Prestige, where the Prestige, it's creating a duplicate, not teleporting, right?
Yeah.
So that every morning, say we'll go with our killer. Every time our killer loops back, they loop back essentially beside themselves, not into themselves, right? They're actually like appearing next to themselves, like hovering over the bed. And it's like, it's myself.
And then we can have a really fun exposition where like the first 20 I'd kill the version of me. Oh, but then that would just cause a new version of me to appear right next to me.
Yeah.
And kill me.
That's complicated. It's neat, but it's complicated.
Yeah.
To be like, if I kill myself, a new one just appears. But if they kill me,
a new one of me,
a new one
appears next to them.
Okay, so never mind. That's not going to work because then we're just creating this weird domino
effect. It might. Eventually, one could decide to not kill them. The weird thing about this type of thing, because I actually was once writing a game that used a bit of this as a narrative. The weird thing about time traveling to create iterations of oneself, especially when you're doing it all in the same time period, unless you craft the narrative to be following the timeline of the individual,
the prime, the alpha traveler.
Sure, yeah, the terminal one, the one that is just any one of them as you follow them looping. If you follow just the space they're in, for example, rather than the individual, what's going to happen is at one moment, every version is going to appear.
Right.
And execute whatever they're going to do. Yeah.
I once had an argument about time travel with that sort of just delving into what we're talking about here, where I'd created a supervillain for a comic book I was writing. And there's like a young man who reaches a point in his adulthood where he loops back. It's like a loop to loop, right?
Yeah.
Loops back. So the adult version comes back to where the young one is and is the arch enemy of that superhero team.
Mm-hmm.
And they are unaware as a team that they are fighting side by side with the young man who will eventually become this enemy.
Yeah.
And that young man, they kill the bad guy, and then the young man grows up and loops back and becomes a bit, and it's this continuing cycle. And arguing with a friend of mine, he said, well, you can only do that once, because then the next time there'll be 2 of them, and then 3 of them, and 4 of them. And every time it loops back, there's going to be another one there. And I had to be like, no, there's only one. There's only one soul to do this loop with. Like, no, when he travels back, then there's 2. And then that one goes forward, and then there's 3. He couldn't grapple with what I was doing string theory, and I don't know what he was thinking.
Well, no, it's
I think it's what you're saying about, like, if you follow the space and you don't lay your rules correctly, you're going to have like 50, 67, like, they're just going to keep, it's going to be
until
Stormy and Quinn from C-Lab.
Yes.
I said dodgeball, bitch.
Yeah.
There's a deep reference for the people in the back.
Oh, see, now that's different. That wasn't just to get real nerdy about a jokey reference. That was actually variations. That wasn't a time loop. That wasn't the same character looping on themselves. Which is why here, the notion is duplication, not it's like a combination of time looping and duplicate. It's weird. We need a whiteboard. We don't have a whiteboard. We need a whiteboard.
We can use my closet door. It's white.
Perfect.
I can draw on it.
It's the vanilla board.
Vanilla board.
It's an eggshell white is what that is.
Okay. Should we take a moment here to kind of just like hone in some ideas, like take a break here and try to craft what we could do with this hero and this villain? Do you want to take a moment here?
Sure.
Why not? I've suggested, so now we have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a quick break here.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and we will continue discussing Happy Death Day 3. 3 Death, 3 Furious.
Welcome to our new podcast. Welcome to our new podcast.
This isn't working.
Agreed. I think we're going to have to do it turn by turn.
Well, now that you mention it, we are a brand new RPG video game podcast.
Our very existence hinges on turn-based gaming.
So join us on the Turn by Turn podcast, where we'll be talking about
Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Golden Sun, Shining Force, Mother, and so many more.
It's your turn to come and join us.
One heist, 6 plots for betrayal. When Raya Cautela cons 5 other thieves into helping her steal a magical artifact from the most powerful man in the world, she knows she's playing with fire. What she doesn't know is that the rest of her crew is just as underhanded as she is, and they all have plans of their own. M.J. Kuhn's Among Thieves, a fantasy heist novel full of twists, turns, and betrayal, available beginning September 7th wherever books are sold. Visit mjkuhn.com for more details.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Mike.
And we are brothers-in-law. We both love beer and are amateur home brewers.
Wait, so does that make us brothers-in-law?
I believe so.
Every episode, we will talk about aspects of beer and home brewing.
But nothing super technical because we're learning this too.
So join us as we sit down together and dive into something beer-related.
Whether it's a little field research, tasting a certain beer style, or beers from a specific brewery.
Talk about our experiences brewing beer at home, including our own solo brews, as well as themed competitions we'll set up along the way.
We will also talk about some of our favorite aspects of brewing, like hops, extra ingredients, building our brew cave, and more. And of course, our own misadventures that have happened along the way.
So, if you like beer, are home brewing already,
or if you have an interest in home brewing and don't know where to start,
join us on Brothers-in-Law Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And make sure to follow us on Twitter at Brothers-in-Law and check out our website, brothersinlaw.com.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we're back.
Okay,
Hey, Jim.
so I got some ideas.
What's your ideas?
Okay, so rather than worrying about duplications, it is a duplication. It's an alternate reality version of Tree. Or maybe we do a weird time split from when she came back from the previous one or something. Or maybe not. Maybe you'll find a better explanation for where I'm going with this.
Okay. I'll damn well try.
But they get in there and it's all four. It's all four of our agents. The thing is, because they're all looping themselves. All of their devices are broken and they're all dying and looping. So they're all immediately waking up in the van or whatever and saying, you have to do this. No, that won't work because you did this.
They're arguing with each other like that. That's
almost
fun.
Immediately.
It's like, I've been in this loop at least 6 times. I understand what you have to do now.
Yeah.
No, I did it 8 times and it failed every time. Like, that's a fun idea.
Yeah. And so then we get to, but the thing is, we still follow Tree, so we get to see them die.
Yeah.
In like a standard slasher type fashion. So what I'm saying, what that does is that gives us the people to kill in our slasher movie.
Sure. I mean, we'll have the victims they originally went to investigate the murders of, as well as now agents to throw in there.
Yeah. And so then they think they're hunting one person, and probably the act. I don't know.
One of the twists.
Act 3 of 5.
It's a 3-hour movie.
You can write quick acts.
It's true.
What they find, we get that scene right where she kills the killer, and she's like, "I did it. I broke the loop." Although it'd be interesting now they are all dead set on breaking the loop only if all of them are alive. So if any one of them dies, they're like,
oh, that's cool.
We all have to die.
Well, I like that. That if that becomes another obstacle to overcome. Not that I want to complicate this too much.
Oh, I'm going to make it even more complicated.
That's cool. I'm cool as long as we can figure this out. This is whiteboard.
Sure.
This is whiteboard screenwriting, and I love it. We don't do this often enough. I hope the listeners are following. Whatever, just kill people in cool ways. That's all we care about.
So I like the idea that she kills the killer and is like, okay, it's done. Even if with the rest of them there, and another killer comes running out from around the corner, killing them all. Like, that's not possible. That's not how this works. And what they find out then, or like maybe she like gets the mask off before she dies, is it isn't one killer. It's a killer version of all 4 of them. It's almost like a reverse team. It's evil reagents that are also there murdering people. So they've had 4 killers killing the 4 of them.
It's not just, you're not suggesting 2 kills. You're suggesting that like if we have 4 agents that are stuck in this thing.
Yes.
Tree, probably throw her boyfriend in there, Melissa, and some 4th new character or whatnot, to find out that it's not just 2 killers, it's 4. It's a team killing exercise.
Yes.
Damn. How? Oh my God. Now you've created a very interesting scenario here, and you're not kidding. This is more complicated. Ooh.
So then their goal is, okay, so all 4 of us have to survive, and we need to kill all 4 of them.
Oh my God, dude. This is like the Burgle Bros of movies.
Without them, or actually their goal might actually be to capture them without them dying, because there could even be a point where like they capture one of them and the killer comes out and kills one of them, so that way their loop will would that work? I don't know if that would work.
We do create an opportunity that there is a suggestion that in the end, the 4 that survive, maybe one of them is actually the one
had done a switcheroo.
Yeah, it's like
switcheroo.
It's like it might be a hint at like, wait, one of us 4 ends up being like, just for the audience to go, I think actually, that's bad, like Melissa.
That, right? Like so one of our good guys, one of our reagents, has the brilliant idea at one point, like we've done this so many times. Okay, here's a new idea. We're all going to put on the babyface killer masks to try to infiltrate the killers. So that's how it all ends, is they all take off their masks like, okay, I'm me. Are you?
you, and
yeah,
you,
of course.
me,
yeah. And like, of course, there's no way to prove that. So.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah.
That there could be an opportunity in the climax to suggest that one didn't is the bad one that made it out. just imagining that the bad guys are them and have been through this loop, and they've been in this loop so much that like fist fights are like John Wick style of deflection. It's like Neo versus Neo. It's like slap, 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 slap. It's like, you're not going to expect this. Of course I expect this because I'm you. Slap, slap, slap. I think there's some comedy to be had in there.
Oh yeah.
I think there's some fun deaths to be had in there. How does the loop, how does this loop end? How do they get out of this loop? Right?
Would it just be surviving? Would it, like killing the 4 killers is enough
to end the loop?
To end it? Or do they have to get all 8 of them out alive?
Oh my God. Well,
like they have to actually capture them.
There's something there. There's something to that, because much like doing the first switcheroo revealing.
And I know I was all like, I don't just want to turn it into like time traveling superheroes, but I realized that's what I've just done.
Kind of turned it into that. Well, that's okay. If the first
just
switcheroo,
enough steak knives and squibs will do the job.
If the first switcheroo is the revelation that Tree is the killer they're hunting, then the second switcheroo is like, I killed myself and now I've survived, and then another one shows up. Oh God, there's 2 of me. And then the next beat is, no, it's all 4 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next beat is, how do we defeat all 4? And we've killed all 4. Loop still continues. Then the next beat is the final answer of like, how do we end this loop? It wasn't killing all the bad guys. That didn't do it. So and you're suggesting,
well, because
they all have to survive.
How would they learn that? Because if you kill all 4 because dying is what causes the loop, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
So really just all 4 of them surviving, even if they kill all 4 killers, would do it.
Would end
with
the
that
loop.
With that logic. It technically wouldn't end the loop for the killers.
They'll be trapped in their own
death.
Death.
Yeah. Whereas our 4 characters know that they made it past that event,
mm-hmm.
which is why they would survive.
Okay, so
does that make sense?
I think so. So then the answer is not killing the bad guys.
It's just surviving. It's killing the bad guys and surviving.
Well, I'm of 2 minds here, because killing them and surviving means they escape, but that also means the killers continue to get to murder in a loop. And if there's some sort of moral that's a moral complication of like, no, we can't leave them here to continue to devastate this timeline over and over again, because I don't know. Is that a good way to like defeat a bad guy, by like trapping them in their
just
own
escaping
murder cycle?
Well,
if we escaped it, they can escape it. So the only way to stop them is to stop them completely. We can't let them die. We can't kill them. We have to get them out of here. So we have to save everybody, even the bad guys. Is that sort of like the hero speech moment right there?
You said something I need to look up.
Oh, he's looking something
quick
up, ladies and gentlemen. So how's everyone feeling about this?
1999.
1999. What about
hour and a half horror sci-fi murder cycle.
That's a movie.
Yeah.
It was called 1999.
No, it came out in 99. The tagline is Alien Death Machine. Murder Cycle. So you said Murder Cycle, and I was like, oh, Murder Cycle.
That's the name of the movie?
Yeah.
Did you look it up as a title for our movie?
What?
What did you just look up?
You said we need to get them out of this murder cycle.
Right.
Sounds like motorcycle. I'm
right.
like, that sounds like a hilarious title for a movie, not this movie.
So you looked up Murder Cycle.
So I looked up Murder Cycle.
And then you found it exists.
Because I actually thought it sounded like a Megadeth song. I believe there's a Megadeth song by that title.
Sorry, I got lost in your
you were staying on topic. You were staying in this movie. I was going off on a murder cycle. If the cycle doesn't make that sound in that movie, I don't want to see it.
I want nothing to do with that movie unless the engine makes that noise. Okay, suggestion.
Yes.
For this. Tree in both movies reaches a point, like her low point, where she gives up, or she doesn't think she's going to make it out.
Mm-hmm.
And as complicated as we're making this, keeping the beats clear, right? I just listed like the 5, and then this twist, and then this twist.
Mm-hmm.
if we can have a moment of Tree being like, we're never going to get out of this. Like, this is our failure. Could we have a moment of her giving up, walking away, sitting down on a park bench or what have you, and an elderly woman coming to her and giving her a pep talk to reveal, listen, this is how this business works. This is what you signed up for. Trust me, I know. As
right
if to
before
say,
putting a penknife in her neck.
I'm suggesting that she
Actually, I
gets
kind of like it. She gets this pep talk, realizes, oh, you're me. I need to keep doing this. I'm ready to go back. She's like, you sure are. And kills her.
This is the only way you're going back. Oh no, stab. But getting a pep talk from her elderly self who has escaped and returned. Right? Who is like, you can get out of
So
this.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
You're changing how the time travel works, you're actually creating time travel.
Mhm.
It's no longer a time loop.
Okay. And okay, wait.
I mean,
how about that? Okay.
that's fair. The right. We were supposed to introduce
No.
something.
No. I think I got it.
Okay.
I think I got it.
Okay.
The loop is a 24-hour loop.
Uh-huh.
If you die, you go back to hour 1. If the machine the device they had allowed them to go back to hour 1. You
Mhm.
cannot exceed 24 hours. The loop exists as a 24-hour loop. If her elderly self comes there and gives her that ex machina moment pep talk and says, the device and technology you have access to now is the same as them, as the bad guys. It's a 24-hour loop. That's all you have. That is not the extent of this technology. I know. Suggesting that there's a version of her that figures out how to loop years. That she creates a fixed point in time that she can loop back to. Sort of like what's the Stephen King JFK?
The 1969.
Yes, yeah.
Movie?
That
TV show thing?
that loop exists for as long as you're in the loop, and you reset it to the fixed point. And it doesn't matter what you do, you can jump back to that fixed point. So the elderly version of her comes and gives her the little key or trick that they need to save the day, which is break the 24-hour loop, make it longer, even if it's just by a minute. You now have 1 minute longer in the loop than the bad guys. I don't know what we can do with that, but that's my suggestion. Is that like the final answer, the way they can defeat them is to extend the loop by longer than 24 hours. Huh? What do you, I don't know. I see you staring off in the middle of distance.
I'm not.
Okay. You don't love it.
What?
I don't know what to do with that per se, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of a way to end this. How do we end this story?
They get out.
They just get out.
Yeah, they just do it. You don't like that. That doesn't satisfy you.
We've created a pretty interesting, complicated
That's why I
murders
figured-
plot.
Yeah, that's why I figure them getting out in a quote unquote standard fashion
Mhm.
works, because the scenario is so complicated.
So
It's
the way they survive it is to just get past the loop point, right? Is to
Yeah.
get to survive the 24 hours.
basically, because the new information, the change here is
Mhm.
there are other iterations of us in this reality, in this timeline.
Mhm.
That alone is bad. We've survived to tell the others that this is a thing that's happening.
Okay.
This is not like moving forward. This is a new problem.
Okay. Let's see if we can build off of that. I think I might have something. If still pep talk from old version of her,
Sure.
I think we can find a way to make that work.
Yeah, if other versions, if other iterations are showing up, that could very well be another
If
one of her.
The loop is a 24-hour loop. We have point A and point B of the 24-hour loop.
Okay.
Right. And the goal is to survive the 24-hour period.
Uh-huh.
If they're not allowing themselves, if they can survive by not getting killed and fight the bad guys off long enough to not kill them and send them back to the beginning of the loop. If all 8 of them, if that's what you're suggesting, we still go with the 4 versus 4, can like the final fight being like watching the clock tick down to the last, like if they can just get past point B, the loop is closed off to them. then all 8 survive. All 8 have to get to the end of the loop so that they can no longer jump back.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm suggesting?
I think so.
That there's, and then the bad guys, then they are free to kill the bad guys. Then they are free from the ability to loop back, maybe. Right? Like if they're fighting and if, like, for example, if one of them screws up, then bad version of Tree is like, I'll see you back at point A, and kills their own person, sending them back to the beginning point of the loop.
Sure. So here's the thing. If any one of them survives, they will close the loop, and the other 7 will be dead. That's why the sides want everyone on their side to survive,
to make it to the end.
Yeah.
Right. So then, so the good guys would be like, we all 8 of us have to. We have to stop fighting these people because we're just sending them back to the beginning of the loop.
Sure, but
this is complicated.
But the thing is, let's just taking it back down to one-on-one, right?
Tree versus Tree.
I am the murderer. You are the survivor.
Mm-hmm.
I am looping to kill a bunch of people. You come in, you're like, I'm gonna stop you, and I kill you. You loop. You know how I killed you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna move forward in time. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna stop you, and I go to kill you, and you're like, aha, I know that trick. And so you do a different thing, and you kill me. And then I loop, right? So then we come forward. You say, aha, I'm gonna stop you, and I go to kill you. You're like, I know that trick, and I'm like, you don't know this trick.
And we just keep moving the
sort of. That's where the really cool fight scenes come from, because they don't know all of these different things. But the moment one is able to kill the other, the loop is closed. The one will stay dead because the other will survive. The other will go past the time, essentially trapping the other person
in that 24
in
hour.
death.
Oof. Huh. Is that, but are you suggesting we go that way, or are you suggesting that we do find a way for all 8 to survive?
I'm saying that's the time loop we're dealing with now. So when we talk about now, we're going to go back to 4 people, right? If all 4 or any number, if any one of the 8 survives past the period, doesn't die and loop,
they are free from.
Yeah, they have condemned everyone else to death, and they are free. They are free in the timeline. Now, taking a step back to the objective, in the next loop, if the person, that's why it depends on whose perspective we follow.
Right.
If we follow Tree's perspective, as long as we follow Tree's perspective, and she survives, and does not die, it is done. Does that?
She just makes it to the end.
Yeah.
And
whoever is also alive has made it to the end.
And so
does that make sense?
I think so. Let me talk this out.
Yeah.
If she can get to the end of the 24 hours, to hour 24 in a minute, she's out of the loop. And she's free to return to DARPA and be like, okay, problem solved. The loop is over. I was in there for 10 years. But none of the other agents survive. Then that's a failure. That's a mission failure.
It would be, yes.
Okay. So then it's being in the loop long enough to get it. Those 3 agents that go missing that she goes into the loop to rescue.
Yep.
It's getting them to the end of the getting to 24 hours and a minute.
Yep.
Now we're all free from the loop, right? But that just gets them free. That doesn't stop the villain. The villain is defeating the villain, keeping them trapped in the.
I'm.
Are we lost?
I've made myself cross-eyed. I just realized something else too. The entire premise that drags her in, that other people are getting caught in there, it would reset and they wouldn't be caught in there. They would immediately say, hey, I die when I go in there. I guess maybe that could just be what it is. Hey, I die when I go in there. I need you to send someone with me. And so that's how they all get embroiled.
Well, okay. Could it potentially be, because we've already dealt with time loops and alternate dimensions, when dropped into a loop scenario, and this goes back to the device being able to free you from it, right? Sort of Quantum Leap-esque. Once you enter the loop, go ahead.
What's this device? Where is this device coming from? Was there a device?
No, I'm making this up.
You're making a device.
I'm creating a new element to the machine.
Okay.
As agents, they're free to enter a loop, and then once they've completed their mission or solved, basically giving them the ability to cycle back to one, until they can make their way through the whole thing and stop the bad guy. Oh boy. I'm suggesting that when they enter a loop, it's not like if they die, they are sent back to the DARPA machine where they like, okay, like you said, oh, I'm going to go into this loop and die. No, it's wherever the point that they enter in this alternate reality timeline, that's where they don't start in the machine. They enter the machine and are dropped into a loop point. So the loop doesn't start with them entering the machine and exiting it and starting to solve the thing. They are basically teleported into a loop, right?
Okay.
So they wouldn't have the ability to exit and say, I died in there. Send someone with me next time. They entered the loop and died and didn't come back. We lost a man. We lost a second agent. We lost a third agent. Tree, you got to go in.
So you're imagining it's like this door that they walk through?
Something like it. I don't know. This is just, I'm trying to figure out a way to play with this. Have we gone too complicated now?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think so.
Let's rewind. Let's loop back. Let's loop back. Okay.
All right. So concept. Happy Death Day 3.
Yes. The suggestion at the end of 2 is that the government wants to utilize this to trap people in loops for some sort of militaristic purpose. I suggested that because Tree has already done this twice now, she's the perfect candidate to be used in time loops. I like the idea that she's going after babyface serial killer who has perfected, to go back to that, how did this person kill an entire convention of people perfectly? The only way they could have done this is if they too were somehow in a loop, basically like utilizing loop technology from a bad version. And then you suggested that it could potentially be revealed that it's Tree is fighting herself.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's remove the 4-on-4 scenario. That she gets dropped into a loop going after a babyface who ends up being herself, who is more ahead in the loop than she is, to the point when they have fights, they can just slap away every. And in fact, that could be how Tree could figure out it's herself, or that or that's how she could figure out this person's in a loop.
Sure.
I went to punch him, slap, slap, slap with such ease. The only way they could have done that is if they were in the loop.
If they had known, yeah.
If they had known. So I'm going up against someone who already knows everything I'm going to do. Guy in the chair, boyfriend in the chair, friend who invented this technology. So how do we defeat someone who already knows every move I'm going to make? And then the revelation of, it's me. Is this the me that is fighting me? Right? Like, is everything I do for nothing because I'm going to be this version of myself? Are our listeners cross-eyed by listening to this?
I don't know. They might all just be really like they understand perfectly, and they're like,
"Good job, guys."
They're all mad at us. They're like, "No, don't you see? It's right there."
And so then it's a matter of defeat the villain to break the loop. Okay. Then it isn't about ending the loop. It isn't about defeating the bad guy. It's figuring out how the bad guy got into the loop, finding the technology that is creating the loop for this villain. That's the mystery. It's not us. Especially if she questions it, like, is this me? Am I going to be this person in this loop? Am I fighting a future version of myself?
What is our villain's goal? Why is our villain doing this?
Well, I liked what you suggested or maybe one of us suggested like, I'm so pissed off that now it doesn't matter. Like I'm stuck in this loop, so I'm just going to murder everyone.
Okay.
Right. Because then Tree almost has an advantage here of like, what technology did you use to get stuck in here? And how can I save myself? You don't have to keep killing me. I don't have to keep killing you. I can break you free. No, you don't understand. We've tried that. You can get out of this loop. I can't. Well, maybe I can bring you with me. Like, right? Like having that twist on it where it's like, let's stop trying to kill each other. Let's get you unstuck.
Okay, you said the bad guys. So I don't make them handheld devices. I like the like they're the dome things, right? And they're very used to, because they control them every time they loop. They are very safe in doing it, and there's a whole team. That's why when they go to this place for whatever, I imagine happening also on a college campus,
sure.
Possibly the very same one. Like, oh, we got to go back to our alma mater. Like someone's murdering again.
Babyface is back,
and we can do a whole bunch of like. Oh, what are old people doing here? I'm not that old. I'm 5 years older. It's,
okay, boomer. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh my God. If someone says, okay, boomer, like it's the same guy every time. Like,
oh God.
Like, okay, boom, boom, boom. That's what you get. I boomed you. Boomered your face. God, I hate that guy.
I derailed for a second. Okay. Right. So they're normally able to loop back and be perfectly safe and be like, here's our new knowledge. The way that they lose control of the loop is because they're within the vicinity of the villain's loop machine. So they're looping on the villain's loop rather than their own.
So they even have less time.
Yeah, because right, their loop machine was like, cool, we're in the van right outside campus. That's where we start our loop. So even if something goes wrong, we'll start here. Yep. Cool, let's go in. They enter the building, and that's when they don't realize until they loop that their loop has changed. Their loop now starts when they enter the building. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's 200 yards back to the van to restart our loop. Let's go. And every time they try that, they die.
So they're stuck in, say, like an 11-hour loop. Right. Where it's
maybe. Like, well, even if it's 12, they're just stuck on someone else's loop. So they can't,
so they can't break free.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So then it's a mystery of
or even maybe early on. Well, no, because then the identity would be revealed very early. I'll say it. Maybe I'll give you something. They do manage to kill the killer. And they go home, right? Like, job well done. They go home. They go to sleep. They wake up
walking into the building.
What the? Wait, what?
What the hell?
Because they're on someone else's loop.
So then it's a matter of, it's not about stopping the villain. It's surviving the villain and stopping their loop, their loop machine. Now we're talking. I like this. Like, cause then it's like, okay, my team understands that I'm stuck in a loop, but they can't help me. Because you guys are in the van 5 minutes further back than I can get. I'm stuck out of my own cycle. So you guys can't get me other technology. You can't get me other information. Like I can do.
They would be able to, like, yeah, they wouldn't be able to get her any of that stuff beforehand, but they'd be able to afterward, because if she's on the times when she's able to survive the event and get back out, be like, look, this is what's going to happen. Cool. You're going to have to do this, this, and this. So then she wakes up in the building again, does this, and this. However, every time she did those things, the killer also already looped and will have. And
they've been doing it longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I still like the idea that it could be Tree is fighting herself, right? Like, you still like that?
I still like the idea that, right, because she was afraid of getting stuck in a different reality,
right,
in a different tree's reality. And I like the idea that a tree came into this reality. She didn't replace the tree. Maybe she replaced someone else, or maybe she's not. She's tree from another. She's tree from another reality. So it's a second tree.
Branching trees.
Can't see the forest from the trees.
So then it's stopping evil version of herself and stopping whatever loop technology is. Okay, so the simple way to do that would be to find Evil Tree's van. If the van is where they can like start the loop points. Remember on DVD players you used to do the A and B? Did you ever use that? Like on DVD players you could mark A, let the DVD player play.
I never had a DVD player with a memory.
And you could hit B, and then you hit them again, and it would just go A to B. It's something that they could use on demos for Walmart. Never mind, forget it.
You keep trying to give her a remote control. I don't think she should have one.
No. I'm not trying to give her a remote control. I'm just saying, forget it. Forget I even brought that up. Someone out there knows what I'm talking about, and thank you for understanding my reference. The idea that if our tree has a van that is her technology is located right there, there's her team. Are we suggesting that Evil Tree has a van and we just got to find that and then blow the van up?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Now
that's the simple way.
I know she's called Tree because it's short for whatever her full actual name
Probably
is.
like Teresa or something.
But I do really like the idea that trees have branches, and I really kind of want to play with that. And which is the other reason I like the idea of iterations, like other versions of her showing up. Maybe there are not even other realities coming to this one. Maybe they are like I was saying, the doppelganger thing. Maybe could we incorporate that somehow, or is that too? That's too. Never mind. I'm gonna roll back a little. Keep it.
Keep it simple.
We'll save that for 4.
Tree versus tree. Evil Tree versus good tree. Figuring it.
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack.
Sorry, the Aku was an evil tree. In case anybody knows a little bit about Samurai Jack,
we're full of weird references tonight. Suncoast Video.
I love that the villain
Samurai Jack
is an evil tree.
The A and B button on a DVD player
doesn't exist. You're from the Berenstain universe.
Oh my god, the Bernstein.
Oh, you're from Berenstain?
I'm from the Bernstein.
I'm from Bernstein.
Bernstein.
Stine. What? There's a whole third one. What's going on?
Oh my goodness. So basically to defeat the villain, they have to find the loop, the machine that the villain is using to do this, and murder the school. out of anger. They're stuck in a loop, and so they just keep looping back, and they figured out how to. It's like, you play Hitman or
it might actually be right. So okay, going further, it takes it a little out of the. So maybe they're Evil Tree with an evil device from an evil dimension that has an evil DARPA. Like literally, like they are trying to attack our world. And so the way to get their attention is to we're like literally that was just to get Tree's attention so they could kill their reagent.
Got it.
The whole point was to get them here to kill them.
Okay, I like that. That the entire motive of massacring a school. God, that's dark. I'm sorry if I'm.
It doesn't have to be the whole school, right? It would be like a dorm or the floor of a dorm. Right. And the thing is, after the first loop, after she loops for the first time, there's no reason for Evil Tree to kill all of them because she's trapped.
Got it. I got Good Tree, and
doesn't mean we can't have some other good murders in there.
Oh well, certainly great murders, and it's the best kind of murders. So then the evil reagent's goal is to capture the technology to get to the van.
Just to take out.
Take out the reagent. Right?
Yeah.
And then Good Tree's got
dead, just gone.
Okay. And then Good Tree has to, we'll just call it Tree. Tree has to find the loop technology and destroy it in order to
get out of the Evil Tree's loop.
Got it. Destroy the technology. Loop is closed off, and now defeat the villain. So they can't loop back anymore.
Yeah.
So no rewind for you. Kill. That's the final catchphrase of the villain.
Be kind.
Or the good guy. No,
be kind. No rewind.
Be kind. I'm gonna be kind. You're not gonna rewind. Kill. Yeah. It's so catchy.
It is.
It's.
We're not even gonna revise it.
No
it's
revision.
going in like that.
People are gonna quote it. It'll be like the most shut up, stupid. Okay.
It'll be right up there with I sure am sick of all these Star Wars.
Which will be, I can't remember if we said it in the episode, but that will be in our episode 10. Yes. Matt Walsh will be the one to say it.
Yes.
It will be in a cantina scene. They will go past him and he will say, I sure am sick of these Star Wars. Okay, but we are completely off point here. Okay, so to recap.
Yep.
We are 5 years in the future, however many years has happened since Happy Death Day to You. Tree is now a reagent.
Mm-hmm.
There is a massacre
Mm-hmm.
that she is looped into
on the anniversary, because literally it's become this urban legend on campus.
Mhm.
And so the dorm, maybe the entire campus, the dorm has this unofficial holiday they celebrate called Happy Death Day.
Nice. Okay. Very
They don't
Scream of you.
realize that it is Tree's birthday. So she's real offended when she shows up.
What?
And the whole dorm
you guys
is
suck.
decorated
in death.
And Happy Death Day.
There is a massacre, and she has to loop until she can solve, because that's what she does now. She solves murder mysteries by looping.
Tries to not get this close to them.
Yeah.
But
and
yes.
unfortunately, it's just very campy to be like, this is the one we're going to tag you in for. This is the mission you never wanted, but it's my last one. This is my last one, then I'm done.
Well, and so now that I think we have a grasp on it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try bringing in the other reagents again.
Okay.
That's right, because you're right. The only movie I've ever seen where the coinky dink of the lineup of things was ever sort of lampshaded and fun, in my opinion, was Pitch Black. Like, yeah, of course we crash here on the one day every 22 years
where it's dark
that this thing happens.
Yeah.
So unless we wanted to lampshade it that much, I suppose we are doing time loops, suggesting that the coincidence is no coincidence is entirely the point. But I like the idea of the evil, the killer, not not getting it on the first try, right? That's why they have to, okay, well, this agent's here, kill them.
Yeah.
How about now? Did that get your attention?
No.
Not the right one.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That they loop until it's Tree who shows up.
Yeah. And because they're all getting caught in the villain's time loop, not DARPA's loop.
Yeah.
That's why they're not coming back.
And she could witness their deaths, like running up to try to stop agent number 2 from dying.
Yeah.
Now, and then like being able to stop their death, but then witnessing agent 3's death, and then trying to getting up to the point where it's like, okay, I've saved you 3 agents. Loop your asses out of here. I'm going to take out this bad guy myself.
Well, they can't. They are also caught.
They're all stuck. So then, yeah, I think that still works. Then finding out that the villain is Bad Tree. This tree's full of bad apples. And
Terrible.
then
Terrible.
And then, okay, it's not killing the bad version of me that's going to do this. It's finding their loop machine and destroying that, and then closing loop and getting back to, like, basically jumping back to when she exited the van and activated her 24-hour jump point to be like, okay, why aren't you taking a step, Tree? Because I've done it. I've closed the loop, and villain has been stopped.
No, I mean, they have to be on the far side of the loop. They can't loop back to the beginning and then be like, the murderer will be this person.
Got it. They get to the end of the loop.
I mean, like, I know what you're saying. You want to avoid the whole the idea of trapping a murderer in a murder loop feels like it's giving them what they want,
right?
But it's really not.
Okay. Yes. So getting to the end,
anyone who dies in that loop, it sucks. It sucks for them.
Or if Tree can somehow navigate the entire day without no
saving
one dying.
every person.
Yeah. So that the loop back for the villain is to have the perfect day of failure for eternity. They'll never kill anyone, and Tree and the other agents will stop her
it's
every
that, or
time.
they destroy the machine.
They destroy
and just apprehend the evil Tree, and so she goes to DARPA jail.
Yeah, but DARPA jail is that loop that the villain is stuck in the loop where Tree defeats him every time. Maybe, I don't know, but I think apprehend might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we did it.
I think so.
Well, Roberta, what do you think? Did we do it? I think we did. Like, I think this is one we literally would have to like map out to like make sure we hit all the points. But I think in general, for how fun those first two movies are, this scenario works to still have some campy, silly fun with time loops and murders.
Yeah.
With a very cool main character. The actress who plays Tree is good. Like I said, those first two movies are way better than they're supposed to be.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we should stop there.
I think so.
Okay. So Roberta, let us know how we did. And for those of you who have listened to this point, if you made it through the whole episode, how did we do? What did we miss? Have you seen Happy Death Day, or is this giving you the opportunity to want to watch these movies? Because again, they're very cool. These are
the only thing we didn't do is make a clever title incorporating the three.
You did hit something I completely forgot about, that it's supposed to be on her birthday. So thank you for going there, because I completely forgot that the first two movies are on her birthday.
Yeah.
So excellent on that point there. I don't know what a fun.
All I can think of is to replace the 3 in death with the E in death with a 3.
Happy Death Day 3. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think more
happy death day.
Happy death day. Okay, let's wrap it up here.
Yep.
I think that will do it for this episode. I'd love to know if we did meet the demand. Like I said, hit us up and let us know. So let's do the social stuff so you can do that. So you can message us directly at studiodemands.com, which is probably where you listen to this. But, tell your friends. You might not know this, but we have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Studio Demands It. If you're not already subscribed, please do that. It's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. And giving us a little review in app always helps the algorithm, even if it's a negative one. You can find me at TC's Big Head. You can find Jim at TC's Big Head. And thank you to 6.5 Media for giving this platform to do this in. That does it for this episode, Jim, right?
Yes.
Any final thoughts?
We're finally out.
We'll be back again soon to take on another demand and challenge the world of cinema, right? So with that said, hello and welcome to the Studio Demands It, an episode in creative thinking where we will challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the demands and stipulations from one of you listeners, acting as the hypothetical Hollywood overlord. We talk movies all the time.
No!